This week at Morning Glory Motorsports, we build what may be the hardest headers I've ever built to date, along with the hardest hot side I've maybe built to date also. And we also get stiffed on some used parts. Hard to believe, I know. A lot of scumbags out there. So stay tuned. All right, I did what is probably the easiest part of this entire turbo kit, the Colt side. So we're gonna move on to the headers. There is very little room in here. So I got the same header flanges that I normally get. These are a touch smaller. Let me grab them. So I got these again. These are from Outlaw Racecraft. He has a nice program written that goes from the weird oval port of the mod motor to a nice circle. These ones are 1 3/4 inch. Normally we do 1 7/8 inch, but this isn't like an all out deal, and I want to keep the turbo filled as much as I can rather than all out for as much power as we can, like on the other builds. This is more of a street car type of deal. Just look at these. Seriously, they're so nice. We are gonna put these up in here and then cuss and curse and build some headers, I guess. They're 1 3/4 to 2.5. Normally we go to 3, but again, this is just a street car. And look at this box. This is the nicest packaged V-band I've ever seen in my life. So, okay, it's like a Christmas present. Anyway, we're gonna I'll weld these onto this and then we'll mount these somewhere. And that's the target we have for running the header tubes to. So right away, there's not enough room. You can kind of see with the AC compressor right here. And then on this side, there is a power steering pump. So, I don't know. Well, I guess we'll just get to it. Look how tight it is in here. Look at the area I have on the passenger side here. AC compressor, tubes. Yeah. This is the side I'm going to start with because I generally try and start with the hardest side and then I'll do the hard side and then the other side's harder, but there's no way that can be true on this one, right? Well, let's just jump right into it. I always start with the one that is going to be the longest. It's just what I do, and it is hard to get in here to even tack. So you want to try and think ahead here. 4 tubes have to fit in this area, so just think ahead a little bit. Do a little planning maybe, or just wing it like I do. Sometimes it works out. Let's check for some clearances here, above and below. I don't have to worry about spark plugs on a mod motor because they go in the top like a Hemi, which is good, but you still have to account for bolts. Try and get them in and out. Back and forth, making small changes here and there. You want to get this as flat as possible because when you go to tack it, you just want to hit it with some heat and get it to tack. When the fitment's better, the easier it is. A lot of the time you cannot get both hands in there when building headers. Like right here, boom, tacked, boom, tacked. Once we're happy with what we got, throw a couple more tacks on so it don't move. Keep on moving forward. So we moved to the bench. I think I can just do it here. I know I marked how the knee just turned to miss the AC compressor. So I have it kind of roughly set up to where I'm like looking down. But maybe this will be easier. I mean, it is easier, but that doesn't mean it is any less complicated. Look at all these tiny little pieces I have just here. Fit them together, see if they fall into place. When I do headers in real tight places like this, I like to just make sure everything fits. It's way easier to cut a tack now than if it's all welded. I'm sure that makes sense. So we'll put the header up in, we'll put the AC compressor back in. We'll also fit for the last tube a little bit. Look at that smile. I guess we like it. So back over to the bench, finish it up. What a wacky header. This one goes back into place. Whatever, right? Looks like it's gonna work. Well, I think we have one done. Well, we have one mocked up. It's not even close to being done, but let me show you what we got here. Misses the AC, misses the tire barely, and then you put this on and go that way. Wow, huh? You know, when I say I hope I started with the hard one first, if it gets any harder than that, oh my goodness. Might be the hardest header I've built. I don't know. Some of those like old like A bodies and G bodies, you have to like go around the frame since they have big blocks. This is it's a small block with big heads. Huh. What do you think? Should I weld this one all the way up or should I just do the next one? Since I have all the cut and shit out, maybe I'll just do the other one too. So we are on to the driver's side header. I'm just gonna mock them all up and then I'll take them both off and weld them all at the same time. So this one comes with its own issues. You know, it don't have the AC compressor, but it does have a power steering pump. And it also has a steering shaft on this side, which poses a problem. So I have the collector mocked up in here already. See how tight it's gonna be to try and get there. But yeah, I have a mock steering shaft in here that I'm just gonna like point up there. But see how close that runner's gonna get? This one. Again, I hope I picked the hard side to start with, but never know until you get into it. I guess on to the passenger side. A little bit more room over here, so we're going to extend the longest one out a little further so we don't have to make as tight a bend. And I just keep checking with this steering shaft. You don't want it to be hitting the primaries. It can be an overlooked thing, especially if it's not in place right now. Up, down, in, out. These headers, I'm telling you. Well, let's just keep on fitting. Generally, the reason why headers are a little easier on the driver's side of a Mustang is because the whole drivetrain is offset to the passenger side. It's like 1/2 inch or 5/8 of an inch. It seems to vary. So you have a little more room. Basically, that's it. You have a little more room. The steering shaft is an added issue. I have a mock-up one in there and it should be okay. If not, I can move the steering pretty easily. We'll get the second one in. And then what's nice about it being kind of wide open is when you get the second one in, you can just pull it off and build it on the bench. A friend of mine taught me that, and it saves a ton of time if you have a block like I have. So again, I got that from eBay. It was just a drop. It was like $60. And then I just drilled and tapped and made whatever bolt patterns I need. So we'll continue and get this runner fitted and hopefully get the rest done, I guess. Like I said, we'll get the second primary in. That'll hold the collector kind of where it needs to be. And then we know there's no obstruction, so we can just take it over to the bench and fit from there. Now, turbo headers are not equal length headers. Again, they see pressure. Equal length usually uses the pulses of the cylinders to like scavenge air out. And it kind of like dissipates the exhaust quicker. Who knows? Maybe equal length would produce 1 more horsepower. But for the extra time it takes, is that worth it? Just run another pound of boost. That'll produce more power. Okay, we have a header mocked up. I guess we gotta make sure it fits. Hopefully. Oh yeah. All right, I think it looks good, I guess. Next thing is to, well, that's probably full of water. I think we like it. That's gonna turn right there, merge in. Yeah. So next thing is pull them both off. Start welding them out, I guess. Yep. Now, I don't know if you remember me saying before when I built these headers, but I take 1 tube out at a time. That way the collector does not move. And this is just a Scotch-Brite ball that I put in a drill. I get them from Harbor Freight. It just makes the tube like a uniform finish. Head on over to the welding bench, get the purge set up in these tubes, and get to welding. Again, when I weld these tubes, I move around quite a bit. I don't just go right around the circumference. I'll jump around quarterly. And once we got that one all finished up, we'll go ahead and put it back in, get it all tacked back into place. And then we'll get the next one out, ready to weld. Now, hopefully, if you did this right, it just goes right back into place. And your broken tacks kind of line right back up. So here is why you back purge. So that's fully welded. If you don't purge it, it becomes like black sugar, they call it, and it's not fully welded, full penetration. A lot of people just fusion weld this stuff, or autogenius, which means no filler rod, but these race cars see a ton of vibration, so I put filler in them and I purge all of them. Let's go ahead and do this a couple more times. Now, these last two, the smaller ones, they generally won't come out singular, so you have to take both of them out at the same time. That's fine, as long as you have two primaries going into the collector, it should hold it in place. All right, so we've got it all put back together. Collector still where it was. So where you are going to, I put little tacks in between the tubes now, and we're gonna knock the collector off and weld the very end here. So in here, it's called a star. You can kind of see, or a diamond. But we gotta fill that in, or else exhaust gas will go back through it. So we'll knock this off and weld a star in. So I've got the collector off, and here's the diamond. So it goes in here. Normally these are pre-cut, but apparently I didn't get any. But anyway, it goes like that. And then you weld it in, weld up, slap the collector back on. Now the middle's sealed, which is good, I guess. Just something like that, I think. Yep. Tack, tack, tack. Weld the outsides. We're gonna back purge it while we do that. Oh, before we do that, actually, we're gonna weld that up, clean this up too. But on to the next. Since I have all the purge stuff set up already for the smaller tubes, I'm gonna go ahead and do all the primaries for the other header. And then we'll go ahead and set the positioner up to weld the V-bands on the collectors. This is not necessary. Sometimes it's harder, actually, but it does produce a good result. Well, now I just have to, now I just have to figure out which one was which, I guess. Yeah, something like that. All right. So we'll go ahead and tack this on, and then we will be putting gas on the back side of it. So I use my cut tacks as like a witness mark here. That's kind of how I get them to line back up the same way. And once we're happy with how they're lined up, go ahead and get them welded on solid. So I'm gonna weld the entire inside of these. I weld the whole port inside. Then I bolt it down to my big aluminum block and weld the outsides completely. Most people don't do this. I do it just for aesthetics, really. It looks better, in my opinion. Looks complete. We'll go ahead and weld the entire inside of these, weld the outside, and then we blend the port. We're pretty much done. You're always going to want to weld the inside completely. And this is just for air turbulence. You can blend the port, like I said. and it just looks more complete. Once I have the entire inside welded, I'll bolt it back down to my block, weld the outside. There we go. Welded all the way around, inside and out. We're just gonna let it cool down on this heatsink. Then we'll do the other one. We'll put them on. I guess do the hot side. I'm not gonna mark out EGTs. I don't even know what side this is. Probably not gonna mark out EGTs until the hot side's done. I guess, I don't know. But yeah. Let's do the other one and put them on. Now that these are done, inside and out, I'm gonna take a guide grinder and clean this stuff up. And then I will, so I drill these to the next size up. These are like the exact size, so it gets to be a pain in the butt to try and put them up in there. So I drill these out to the next size up, and then I'll run this on my belt sander, make sure it's flat, and I'll put them in there. Now you're really not trying to hog the port out to like port match or anything. They're already port matched. You're just trying to knock down the weld and make it a smooth transition from the flange to the tube. And then we'll move on to the hot side. Well, you can kind of see like where some of my issue lies. You know, this looks like it'll clear actually pretty well. So I just am on the fence if I want to do this and then split here or split right up here. I don't know. Let's see what it looks like the other way. Well, it might be better to split with you do the single 3 and then split. Something like that. Quite the dilemma. Maybe we'll drop it down and see what it looks like with the tire compressed. And go from there. There's tons of room. I don't think I really need to worry too much about hitting the tire. At least for that. So now I just got to figure out if I want to do this single 3-inch and split out here, or if I want to split right at the turbo. Just got to look at it a little bit. So I've got my 2 pieces of 2.5-inch stainless here, and I need them both to merge into one 3-inch. I guess get to cutting. So I think I have something, I guess. We'll tack this together and then figure out how to mold it to this 3-inch. There's gonna be, I don't know how I'm gonna do it yet, but we'll get this tacked together and I guess get it tacked on that piece of 3-inch. Get our transition going. What a pain. You said it, man. This merge is going to be tough to get in between these 2 tubes. Just because they come together at such a steep angle. But that's why we have a Furic cup. Turn the gas up, extend that tungsten out, and we'll get in there. Once we've got it welded together, we'll stick it on up in there and make some marks where we got to cut. We'll get it cut and then we'll do some little transition pieces. Cut this merge a little more for those transitions and then we'll just shave it down. Make sure it fits really well. I think we got her kind of how we want it, I guess. I don't know. Quite an intricate merge. So we'll get it purged and get it welded. Then we can start hooking it up. Kind of have what I feel like is going to work here. Nothing's tacked, just kind of getting it all mocked up, but let me back up a little bit here. That should work, I think. I hope. Gives you a disconnect here, and then this one's going to have a double slip down the line somewhere. So, the last part of this V-band is going to be real tough. You can, I gotta get in here. So, there's no easy way to do it. The best way, well, I don't know if there's a best way, but basically just extend your tungsten way out with a big cup and a lot of pressure. What do I got? 25-ish CFM. May need more, but I'm trying. You know, it actually wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be, but we got it. We'll go ahead and finish these V-bands out until we move on to the last one. Before I weld this last V-band on, I'm going to test fit it again, just because there's kind of a hard connection here. I just want to make sure it fits. If it doesn't, we can cut this V-band loose and do any kind of adjustments before it's fully welded. So they're all tightened up and it fits right back into place. I guess a little secret, not secret, insider information, maybe. Tack around it as much as you can. At least 6, 8, 10, however many you can get around it ensures that it won't move as much when you weld it completely solid. So I could have probably welded that flange and it would have been fine, but hey, rather just check now than cut it off. But anyway, we'll get it back off, weld that flange, and start on the next side. Once we got that last V-band all welded up, let's pop it right back into place. And yeah, it fits well. Move on to the second runner, and this one's going to have that double slip I was talking about. On a boosted application, you want to use a double slip on the hot side. Turbo C pressure, and these are not good for pressure. These flexes, sometimes they'll get pressure in them and expand, and oh, well, that's not good. So we put the double slip in line. If you need a little movement, or generally these are tougher when you a single turbo application. So we'll put that in and keep moving. So I've got the double slip here. This goes, well, let me see if I can get it apart. So there's 2 pieces of slip. This will go on there like that. This will go like that, and then that'll slip over it. setting one of these up is kind of, it's pretty easy, but you just want to take note of the direction of the first slip. You don't want the air to run into like the end of a tube. So you want the direction of the flow to go over the tube and then like hit the transition of the slip, if that makes any sense. And you kind of want to go slow while you weld. These are very easy to bore. The double slip is not welded on yet, so I cannot stress this enough, is pack all the way around it before you weld this on. Just tack as much as you can before you weld it. That's all I can say about it. Other than that, I guess we're gonna move on to the wastegates. There we have a pretty much completed hot side. It needs wastegates yet, but. Well, one of the last pieces of the hot side puzzle is a wastegate. We have Turbo Smart Hypergate 45s in purple. Should look pretty cool. And we have this Motion Raceworks cast wastegate merge. So I've never used these. I normally cut my own, but I want to give them a shot. Like that, I think. But as you can see, it's kind of close to the tire. So we're going to put this down, kind of like it's at ride height. We're going to put the bumper on too. Just check. Cut a giant hole in this merge, I guess. Or somewhere. We got to figure out where to put this. The other side should be relatively simple. I think I'm just going to go like this. Bada bing, bada boom. Done. Anyway. Let's do it. Oh yeah. Plenty of room under here, huh? So I may even extend that out a little bit, just so I know I'm away from the tire. I guess we'll do the same thing on this side and get the chopping. The nicest thing about these is they're the same both sides. So just mark them out, cut them, and these don't change. I guess what I meant by that is I can just take one out of the package and mark both sides rather than... Anyway, doesn't matter because I changed the other one anyway. I finish it off with the die grinder here, just try and clean it up a little bit. Alright, got a big old hole. Is that like the weld on the wastegate thing? Onto this before it gets put onto this. Just because like welding down in here, a little harder. Let's see if we did okay. Yep. And I'll go like that. I suppose we could just weld this right on. Tack it on there. So these don't really fit together that well. So I'm gonna open this up so it'll slide onto this, because it'll be harder to put this in the lathe, cut this down, than it will be this. I just want them to socket into each other for a better weld is all. You don't have to do any of that. See how we did? Yeah, it fits pretty good, huh? So again, there's tons of meat here, and this is just something I do. Would it have welded fine without doing this? I'm sure that hundreds of people have done that, but just what I do. Had to turn the amps up here a little bit because this cast is obviously a little thicker, and so is the V-band. So a little more amps on this one. while we're here, we're going to get that other part of the double slip welded on. Again, lots of tacks, go slow, move around. It just warps so easily. It warps so easily because it's open-ended. If it was connected on the other side to something, it doesn't warp nearly as easy. And then we'll go ahead and get the wastegate mount welded on. So this side's a little different. You can see it's bent this way, but basically it doesn't fit that great. So we'll modify this a little bit so it just fits better. You can, oh, there you can see daylight. But yeah. Let's go ahead and get this side fitted. Again, a bunch of compound curves here, so I just want to fit it as good as I can, especially because you cannot really get in there to weld that well. And yes, I know that it was going the wrong way in that clip I just had, but it is welded on the right way, I hope. I'm gonna stick the whole merge back up in there and just do another test fit, of course. All right, I think I have her. We're just held on by one tack right now, but just wanted to, I think I like it. We'll do this, and the dump tube will just go straight in. And we're, you know, I can fit almost a fist in between that and the tire. So, all right, let's get her tacked on more. That's going to be difficult to weld in there, that's for sure. While we are here, we're going to pop this on before we weld this, and slide the bumper on. We're going to do the wastegate dump tubes, just because we can do that all in one shot here. Okay. That I have the wastegate exhaust tubes marked out, I don't want them to sit below the bumper, obviously. Let's get everything welded up. And once I'm finished with stainless here, I have to dabble with a little bit of aluminum. In case you missed it in the last video, I didn't put something on the cold side yet. So last thing we need to do to the cold side is the blowout valve. We got one, Motion Raceworks, matches everything else here. And I think I have it marked out kind of where I want it. I already have this shaped. I think this comes for 3-inch. This is 3.5, so you have to open her up. But yeah, I think we'll put it there, and that should be it for aluminum. Get it polished. All right, we'll switch gears to some aluminum here. Get this blowout valve welded on. Now you see I welded that just straight on there because it's way easier to just take a hole saw down through it now and blend it in. But yeah, that's what we'll do now. Again, this is just what I do. You can do it however you want, but I just run a hole saw down through it and then chip away at it with a die grinder. Check it out. Just clean it up, get all the shavings out of it, and put it back. We'll go ahead and put it back on. I think I'd say that's job done. Turbo kit finished. one turbo kit. Lots of room. Got the dumps, got purple wastegates, match purple paint sometimes. All Motion Raceworks in there. And there you have it, one turbo kit. For a 5.4 and a new Edge with a single turbo, you know, never to be replicated again. It just needs an exhaust, but I gotta order a ton of oval tubing, and we're trying to do tailpipes. This turbo needs at least 4-inch. Anyway, that's gonna be miserable, but this is done. So I'm gonna move on to mounting the independent rear. I put some bushings in it the other day while I was waiting on the dual seal. Now, it's time to do that. Make it a roller, I guess. Yeah. Well, I think we're going to end this video here. Turbo kit's done completely. Headers, which were a pain. Yeah, I was going to show the independent rear suspension in this video also. It's powder coated, bushings are all done, but customer bought a used IRS from somebody. Obviously, you have to. And you kind of rely on them to be honest about it. The seller, that is. Because it had the upgraded axles we want, which are very expensive. It had the gears we wanted. And it shows up. We go over the pattern. Pattern's kind of wonky. And right away, wrong gears are in it. And it spun a bearing. I've never seen a spun bearing in a center section. How any of it. So basically, the center section is junk. So yeah, I won't be putting it in because I'm waiting on, I bought an iron one from a Thunderbird. So like a 89 to 97 Ford Thunderbirds came with the same center section as 0304 Cobra, 99 to 9901 and 0304 Cobras, except they were iron instead of aluminum. So they're like a direct swap and they're stronger. So we're putting that in. They're getting very hard to find though, so they're getting much more expensive. The first one I bought was $75. This one was 5 times that much. But what isn't getting more expensive, right? So that'll be in the next video. The next event we're going to is U.S. Street Nationals in Bradenton, Florida. I'll put up a thing here. White car's going, running LDR. Red rum's going, running LDR. And I think we're going to test Maximus a little bit because his next race is at South Georgia Motorsports Park. I guess that'll be the end of this video. If you're liking the content, hit like, subscribe. I would appreciate it. And thanks for watching.